Alright guys, welcome to the Decklist stream for Grand Prix Incheon. Is that how you pronounce it?
I'll look it up.
A good idea. And while we do that, so we don't actually have to introduce the card changes this time around because Times now does monthly MSEM updates, so you can actually keep up with card changes that way, which is really nice. I really appreciate what Times is doing for format currently with the video production. We've gotten a lot of new people just through those videos, right? A surprising amount of people.
Yeah, definitely. You keep getting new people. It's so awesome.
I agree.
I love whenever a new person comes in and builds some cool deck.
Anyways, so yeah, should we talk about like what was happening in League going into the GP? So the deck that everyone was worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been playing much League lately because I've been occupied with field test, but people have been talking a lot about this. It's another heart attack deck. This time it's going all in on the ramp package and going even further all in than the previous. I've been playing in League a little bit, a heart attack deck that uses like Simul to untap it and stuff and use a mastery thrill. This one's going even further all in, playing no 2-drops other than Trattery Restoration, so you can tend to the grove it, and winning with a Dragon Calling line for Shimmering Dragons and Tyrants of Tributes.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about the deck more when we see it, because I'm assuming at least one person brought the deck.
Yeah, 2 people did.
Alright, less than expected, but sure. So let's actually just
Yeah,
start on the
definitely.
list. So
And we'll
Nyx,
see how it actually goes. Yeah.
Nyx
Nyx's deck,
is on. Is
it's
this
a mono colorless deck.
Is this 60 cards or is it 100 cards? I can't keep
It's 60
track.
cards. It's a smaller version of Truq's Turbo Reshaper deck, the Deadman's Hand Dimensional Reshaper combo deck. It's using a main plan of, this deck has a lot of tutors and a lot of card filtering and stuff with Gilded Spyglass and Harvest Reaper, and it's essentially just taking Shining Crusaders and putting Light Blessed Claymores and other objects onto them in order to try to beat down like that. But the main plan is just you got your mana cheating and your card finding, and you just Deadman's Hand. What is their spirited? Imperial Horns or Imperial Collection, and then Dimensional Reshaper to combo and instantly kill them.
Yeah, so for those of you in the audience who don't know how combo works, basically you have Dimensional Reshaper in play, you have you have to have Dead Man's Hand in play first, right? And then you play one of these spirited artifacts, and then you activate Dimensional Reshaper while the ability's on a stack, and then you instantly win by swapping Dead Man's Hand and activating that thing for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the sideboard, there's a bunch of Ooh, they're playing Forgotten Idol. That's a new card I haven't seen before.
Sure is.
Is it
It's an
good?
interesting one. I'm not entirely sure. It taxes a little bit and hopefully gets you back a card if they are forced to do this, because it only gets rid of one instance of the card. If they have like 2 Dragon Callings in hand, they can still exile one, exile this. Each player draws a card, and then they cast a second one. I'm not entirely sure how good it is. It hasn't really gotten played much, but I'm excited to see it. It seems cool.
Stained Reliquary is...
That's a new piece of graveyard hate. There's so
Okay.
many of these like sort of Relic of Progenitus, and this one looks interesting. I actually really like it because you can choose creature or whatever and then always hit the thing you want.
Yeah, and you can afford to play all these toolboxy cards on your sideboard because you're literally a toolbox deck.
Yeah, you have a million tutors and so much filtering.
Yeah. It even reminds me of Urza's Saga from Canon because you're playing all these random 1-mana artifacts to tutor up.
It actually does. That's a really good comparison. And then you got Titan Snare, and sort of Chains of Subdual, I guess. I don't know what the deal with that is, but it sort of works. But the main thing is Titan Snare for the ramp decks.
That ended up...
I guess Mysterious Coffer, but I don't know how helpful
Mysterious
that is.
Coffer is good against... It's surprisingly good against ramp.
It's definitely good against small decks.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Let's go to our next... Oh, actually, no, we should... The spreadsheet, right? The spreadsheet. Where is it? No, that was the last spreadsheet. All right. Thanks for joining us again, Toasty. So I like the deck. It's very interesting. I think I'm gonna give it 5 chili peppers. What about you, Toasty?
I will give it, I guess, also 5. I'll give it... The only cards they have are all jokers, so I guess I'll give it a legal poker hand of 5 jokers.
Sure. Okay. I need to find where everything is because I have a bunch of tabs open.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Scribble is on Heart Attack, but not the new version.
Bant Heart Attack. Yeah, Bant Heart Attack this time. Scribble and Ivy, I believe, are both on this deck. It's classic Heart Attack things. You got all the counter spells, the reveal eternities, and then your win cons are, once again, we're bringing back Children of the Clouds.
Ooh, I love
And
Children
then
of
the
the Cloud.
classic, I hate that card. And then the classic Stand Unassailable, Recall Forgotten Eons Beyond Our
They're
Horizons.
running 4 stand unassailable in the main deck.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that as a burn player here.
They're running more stands than recalls. That's crazy.
It's interesting. I don't know what the rationale is, but it's an interesting choice.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure they have a good rationale.
I guess the rationale is that if you stabilize as Heart, you're going to win anyways. So might as well try to go all in on stands because you have ways to get cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Beyond All Horizons. I'm surprised this card didn't see play for so long. Like it feels like the exact card. Yeah, like
it's so good.
It's so good in Heart.
It's a tutor directly into play, which is quite nice. It's a ramp and also finds your Heart, and then also it just turns into immediately this absolutely enormous thing that finds another land too. It's just
like
huge.
if it finds Heart and gives you an outlet for the Heart mana.
Yeah, just a really good card.
And they're running 4 end of days in the main board. Okay, so they're on hard control.
Yeah,
like
just four classic wrath.
4 stands, 4 end of days, 2 children's. Jeez.
The Roots from Ruin too, which is a good
5
card.
wrath. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what the deal is with all these wraths. I don't know what they're really expecting to be needing a lot of wraths for. I don't feel like we've been in a meta that has been especially conducive to like decks that play a lot of things out in a way that doesn't instantly kill you, like a thing that wraths can help with. But I mean, like, I didn't build the deck. They know better than me here.
I mean, like, wrath are fine to Heart matchups, right? Because you wipe all their revelations and then you drop your own.
That's fair, yeah. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
It's more just like, yeah, they've been trying to. The Heart matchup here is trying to just ramp with Treachery and stuff. You got Cosmic Single for that, and then Murder kill you very fast.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. Since it doesn't have black, it can't one shot people. But yeah, definitely. Yeah. If it stabilizes, then it has infinite value.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Heart Attack.
Children of the Clouds is not instant anymore, so that's also not a one shot.
Yeah. So I mean, it's Heart Attack, so I don't think I can give Heart Attack any grace here. I'm just going to give it 2 chili peppers. Oh, you're also giving it 2 hearts.
I'm giving it hearts. It's a cool deck. I don't think it's especially like I'm giving it a second one because it's Bant. We haven't seen Bant in a little bit, but like I don't think it's anything like especially new.
Well, it's 2 hearts. They're not being attacked. It's not. It should be 2 hearts that are being attacked.
Oh yeah, they should be broken hearts.
Yeah. All right. While you do that, ooh, there's someone in chat asking about what format this is. Magic Set Editor Modern. Did someone just happen upon my stream?
I guess.
Yes. I'm surprised that. Okay. Yeah, I'm really surprised if I managed to like snag someone because I don't know if YouTube's pushing my videos at all or not.
Next we have Requiem.
Okay,
who's one of our 3 people on. Is it Prowess?
Ooh, and it's so. Is this the exact same deck list that I
think so.
Evolved with?
It looks very similar. I think it's very much the same.
It's literally the same deck.
Is it the same one you're on?
No. Well, actually, I'll save it as a surprise for when I get to my part.
Sounds great.
Yeah, exactly. So
do you know this deck well? What would you say about it?
So the thing is, actually, the reason I brought the deck to League was because I figured that it probably does a decent job of beating up all the the Turbo Heart players because, like, Turbo Heart, since they're playing they're playing Shifting Lands in their mana base, right? Or I forgot.
I think.
Well, either way, it's like they're a deck that doesn't really do much turn 1, turn 2. So if you play a deck that
they're not doing Shifting Lands anymore, they used to be.
Ooh, someone dropped the Discord link in chat, or yeah, someone dropped the Discord link in stream chat. We managed to snag someone. We managed to snag another player. Actually, I could probably drop it. It's also in the description, right?
Yeah, I was just.
Anyways, so let's get back to talking about the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the idea here is that, well, there's lots of ideas, but the main idea here is that Autumn Fae is actually Autumn Fae is a 2-mana flying prowess double striking guy. So if you haste this thing, you randomly deal a bunch of damage out of nowhere. So this deck is basically just a bunch of prowess creatures and a bunch of buff spells. So Bite Blitz is it's a functional reprint of Reckless Charge. But Bite Blitz means that you have Bite Blitz plus Autumn Fae is 6 damage from hand. You also have Festival Sabotage, which has a lot of text, but it has Audition for Red, which also has a lot of reminder text. But basically what happens is that you play Festival Sabotage, you turn your Autumn Fae into a base 3/2 trample, and then you get the prowess buff, so it becomes 4 power for a turn. And then if you have like a haster, like if you have Bite Blitz from hand, then it goes up to 7 power in total, so that's 14 damage from hand. And yeah, you can see how quickly that builds up. And then also
so the thought is
you continue.
Thought is they tap out for the Treasury Restoration, and then you're able to abuse it by just killing them instantly, right?
Yeah, like I remember in deck building, like people were complaining about ways to beat Turbo hard because like all of the quote unquote reactive answers don't work, and then I just said just play a deck where if they give you if they get you up to 4 lands, then you just untap and kill them. Also,
I think it makes a lot of sense.
The other broken card here is Nazev Enforcer. So it's a 1-drop prowess guide that clones itself if it has 4 power at the end of turn. So the intended design for this card, I think, was that you play 3 spells with it, and then you get 3 prowess triggers, and then it copies itself at the end of turn. Turns out you can just play 1 of your buff spells, and then that's enough for it to copy itself. So yeah,
So it's just really hard to deal with. As soon as you get a second one, it's really hard to remove both of them at once.
Yes, you can go Nazev into Bite Blitz, and that's a really good turn for you because you're swinging for 4 damage, and then it copies itself end of turn.
Festival Sabotage too. Yeah, seems really good.
Yes, Festival Sabotage means that this thing continually copies itself as long as you can play 1 spell every turn. So a very low to the ground, very fast deck.
What's the thought with the sideboard?
Oh, so you play 3 Shikai's Redoubt to beat graveyard decks. You play 3 Fork Pillars to beat decks that play small creatures that need to survive. You play 3 Spell Pierces against control decks, so like against Wrath, and you also play also against like combo decks where you can snipe a single spell and stop them. 3 Flaming Points because I guess you want to blow up artifacts, and it also is an instant speed +3. So if you use it with Autumn Fae, that's 8 extra damage going to face, and then 3 Sunken Visions for decks that play bigger creatures that you can't get around otherwise.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
What would you rate this?
I'm going to give it 5 chili peppers because I built it. Although, I guess the deck isn't 100% by me because I took an older green-red prowess deck, and then I slightly tuned that, and then I decided to go into blue because I realized that Nazev Enforcer plus any buff spell copies it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so is it?
I'll give it 4 Autumn Fairies.
Yeah. Alright, that's nice. So, moving on.
Got styles on the Treasury version of Heart Attack
so that
here.
is a Treasury. Wait, are they playing Chaos' Redemption now?
They sure are. You use Chaos' Redemption for Treasury Restoration, Tend to the Grove, and Recall Forgotten Eons.
That feels like not a very good use of Chaos' Redemption.
Or Beyond All Horizons. Well, you have a 2/3 chance to get a Treasury. The goal of the deck is just to get as many options of Treasury as you can.
I see. And then once you Treasury,
you could also look for Beyond All Horizons, Gate of Realms, Intrepid if you wanted to find her for sure.
Yeah, so then you win with Dragon Calling, I guess.
Yeah, you do Treasury, you make 1,000,000 mana, you use Elryan, the mana root, which is just a broken card. I brought it up in deck building a little while ago, and then I immediately forgot about it because people just haven't been playing this card, but this card is absurd. You play it early, just if you play it on turn 1, you can fetch it out even, just skip turn 1 or have an extra mana sometime, and then on turn 5, you just have like 10 mana randomly.
Yeah, and so Titan Snare doesn't actually stop this deck, right? What's the if your opponent tries to use Titan Snare to stop you, which prevents all 5 mana or greater spells from being cast, you just coalesce your Revelations and you're pretty happy.
Yeah, you try to win with Coalesce. Yeah. The main plan is Dragon Calling stuff and Tyrants and Shimmering Dragons, but there's also that, or Monument of Queen Beats, I guess.
So yeah, this deck is very much lacking in early interaction. Surprisingly, like, can the deck support early interaction? Because I don't see anything in the mana base that would prevent that from happening.
I mean, it's only 1 mana things that they could use.
Yeah, like
2 mana and 3 mana is all ramping.
I feel like
I don't
they
know what the thought is. Valdez is their only option there. I feel like they maybe could have done more of that, but it also dilutes the like ramp and combo stuff. So I'm
fair.
not sure.
Yeah, fair.
Because you want to be getting your things you need as often as possible.
And then I
And
guess biohazard is like if you get big enough biohazard, it wipes everything. So then
yeah, you just wipe things with that. And then the sideboard more Valdez's, I guess, is hand attack. Slippery bunyips for like the mirror, I guess maybe. I don't actually know.
it's for
For some
counter.
kind of control matchup.
It's
Yeah.
to beat count, or it's like counter spells for combo stuff, control
Yeah,
stuff.
makes sense. A rot, biohazard, Shikaizu'd out. And the Is Barons, which is I guess for like some sort of big creature decks.
Yeah, for like anti aggro ish.
Seems pretty bad for aggro because they usually don't have just one big thing. I don't know, maybe something.
Oh,
Maybe prowess. It's probably okay into prowess.
oh yeah, fair. I guess like maybe it's a late addition because Requiem got wrecked by prowess
Yeah.
in League too many times on this deck.
Yeah. It's pretty slow to like fetch it out. It's like turn 3 or 4 you get to start activating it, which is pretty slow, but maybe it works. I'm not sure.
I mean, if you can prevent the last few damage from going through, then
Yeah, that makes sense.
is the thing. So I'm going to give this deck. I don't like Heart Attack. I'm going to give it 3 Chili Peppers because at least it's a new version of Heart Attack. But still, like I don't like Heart Attack.
I'm gonna give it some squirrels.
Squirrels. Oh hey, Neon Blue.
There we go. So
Okay,
Amethyst,
so
this is a deck.
Engineer is pinging
Amethyst
me
has
right
been
now in chat. Isbarons is in because Nick told me about it and I thought it was okay. Also really good against Faye.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking there.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Anti got wrecked by prowess in League too many times and want an answer.
Yeah. So this is Azorius Flash deck. Amethyst was telling me a bit about it. Thoughts about a bunch of these cards, and I haven't seen the final version, but I've been privy to some of the building. It uses a lot of our really good tempo threats. We're finally seeing Centered Acolyte again, which is Monastery Mentor, but 1 less mana, kinda.
It is Monastery Mentor. It literally is.
Yeah. It's not quite because the monks don't keep prowess if it dies, which is a real downside, but it is a strong card here. And you're using things like you have a lot of draw, you have Planet Far Away, you have some mana leaks. That's where we are in vastness of space. Even still the Pandemonium main deck, which is pretty aggressive, but probably good. And finally, we're seeing Glimmer used again, which is just awesome to see.
What does that actually
Lets you
do?
it blinks something and draws a card, so you can use it with Cane Dancer, just as a free draw card and still get another thing. You can use it on Centered Acolyte, just I don't know, as draw card and make a thing. Silvercrest Vanguard turns it into more draw. Velborn Meddler lets you counter more things. Ocean Reef Warden lets you counter more things also. Ancestral Council lets you tutor. So it just gets you value, and also it's just a cantrip.
I'm actually quite surprised by Silvercrest Vanguard because I don't think I've ever seen this card before, and it actually looks really good because it's a 2-drop that cantrips with upside.
Yeah, I've tried to play it in Blink before, but the issue is that blinking it is bad. Etherizing it is good, but blinking it is bad. So I mostly cut it. But it is good. It's a 2-mana 1/2 that scries 1 and draws a card and then gets big late. It's
Yeah,
quite a good card.
maybe people just never played it because they don't know about it, or maybe it's because the double blue is too hard.
For me, it was just it didn't work when the things I was doing, but it's very good in this deck, I think.
Okay, Cane
So things are going
Dancer, Cane Dancer, Glimmer draws 2 things and then gets you another thing. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you just draw a bunch.
Yeah. All right.
And yeah, has a ton of counter spells. Social Graces is back. That's a funny card.
It's our Get Probe that you like. You think it's Get Probe, but it's actually not Get Probe a lot of the times.
Except sometimes it's Get Probe.
Yeah, you're just hoping that you play into a fetch land deck.
Yeah, basically. Embodied Soul is also there, which is cool and not at all frightening for me as Burn. Oh, of course, the most important part of this is it's a Sunrise deck. These cards are really good. They just are soul lands.
They're soul lands if you can make use of them.
Yeah, if you can use flash stuff. So they're quite strong in this. You tap out for one of your 2-drops on your turn. Then on their turn, you have counter spells and blinks and all that good stuff. Yeah, seems really good. I'm a big fan of this deck.
Yeah, it seems pretty good, and I think it actually has a pretty decent prowess matchup because it has the cheap answers, like cheap interaction, and enough tempo. Oh yeah, this thing actually just eats up burn and prowess for breakfast because there's Veilborn Meddler and Ocean acting as spell starter sprites.
Sure does.
Yeah. All right, now
It
looking.
seems really strong.
Hopefully, I dodged the deck then.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I think I'll give it like 4 chili peppers. It's pretty. Actually, sure, I'll give it 5 chili peppers. It's not a deck I've seen before. What would you call this deck?
White blue tempo.
Tempo? Yeah,
White
sure,
blue
close
flash,
enough.
maybe.
Well, no, blue white flashes is like a different deck, right? It's not like because it's not a Mabel deck. Mabel is a flash
Sure.
deck.
Yeah. Now we have Gaulo, who
Yeah.
is on a awesome little Weaver Sack deck is back.
Yay, Weaver Sack. It's like the offshoot of Dreamsight 8 Sack after it got
Indeed.
killed from the format.
I always recognize this deck as soon as I see a million creatures and Solman the Huntress. I always want to make Solman the Huntress good in any other deck, and it's never good, but I've seen it be good in this one.
I think looking at the card, it tells us that the options for 4 drops in MSEM are pretty dire if you're running this card as your cheat target.
Yeah, I mean, but also it is good into like creature lists, especially, or decks with few creatures or small creatures. Like it's hard to deal with. You can choose to snipe the little creatures if you want, and if it gets in one hit, it's enormous.
Yeah, true.
And stuff. Like it's not really a normally playable card, but there's situations where it's quite good, which makes it a good one of in this kind of list, which is quite cool.
Yeah. So do we even want to explain how this deck works?
It's a deck that uses selective breeding. Pretty Savage is here. What Lurks Beyond as tutors to pod your various little creatures into other creatures in here, especially a lot of humans, but all sorts of creatures. And you can mana cheat some by chaining up with Fiery Truth Seeker or Ophidian Oracle and the like to get to an early Kyoro or Meteor Harbinger or something like that to try to take over the game.
I mean, Kyoro also lets you keep chaining because it flashes back a thing.
And it's kind of a mid-range deck that has some like a lot of tutor elements and can get off to really fast starts. We have Anrin's Radical that has been really nice in pod decks because it fetches selective breeding. And then, of course, it's an unrivaled Fireweaver deck. So you just have all this stuff in the sideboard to just, you tutor the Fireweaver if you want and then find this, or you can Fireweaver. And then because it's technically 4 cost, even though it costs 2, it makes you able to pod really effectively with it.
Yeah, and then Fireweaver. Do we even want to go over all the options for Fireweaver?
I don't know if we even need to. Yeah. We have a whole bunch of Scarlet Mist and stuff. That's a cool one. Lets you get an extra Fireweaver trigger. Ghoulish Under thing. Just cool stuff in here. Tully's Council, of course.
Imperial Siege is actually kind of funny because you can easily blink this or flashback this card a bunch in this deck.
Yeah. We also have, as a new addition, a human that's easy to pod into off of a Fireweaver, which is pretty exciting. A Obsessive Ritualist from whatever it's called.
End of Wallency. Yeah.
And that's pretty cool for a couple of reasons. One, you play it, it buffs all your things. It can be a little mini Wrath. I can see it as an Overrun or a little mini Wrath that you pot out off of a like a Weaver or whatever. But also, you can fleeting it, get the little mini Wrath effect to wipe 1/1s, and then pot it for, you paid 3 mana, but it costs 5.
Oh, wait. What 6-drops are there to pod into?
Lyran Alpha.
Is that it?
That's the only one.
Yeah, fair, I guess. Like, Dreamsight 8 Sack also only ran Lyran because there's actually not many good 6-drops to pod into in the format.
This deck used to run Warbringer Titan, which is a card I liked a lot, but it has not been doing that lately.
Yeah, like, I guess Warbringer Titan, what was that? Like the melee make 2 guys
Yeah,
thing?
it makes a bunch of 2/2s essentially. It's Grave Titan. And also it's hexproof from instants or sorceries.
Actually, it's protection, which technically could matter if something deals 6 damage.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
So yeah, Gao has said before, this is probably the closest thing you can get to Yu-Gi-Oh! In Magic, or at least like in current MSEM, because when you're playing this deck, you're actually thinking in terms of extenders and stuff. I don't actually know what extenders are, but they sound like the sort of thing that
I've been having a lot of fun doing extenders in field test because I've been using TrueQ made a Yu-Gi-Oh! Port set.
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of fun building some funny combo decks because that set has a very large amount of entombs in it. So I use the entombs to find this random card that you can exile from the graveyard to find a legendary
For
enchantment.
free?
As you find this legendary. No, you have to pay 2.
Oh, okay.
And
It's
the
not
legendary
Yu-Gi-Oh.
enchantment goes into your hand. It goes into your hand.
Okay.
And then you play it, and it's this Tinker enchantment from Anacron, and it does a million, finds you even more things.
Okay, but you have to pay for all that, right? You're not like just getting all
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Your deck honestly isn't actually that good, but it's really fun.
I also noticed the one Amorphous Tyrant, which is interesting. I guess it's a pod target on 5 that acts as a removal spell. Like you
And
can't
it's just enormous too.
you can't pod it though, right? Or you can't pod it off the evoke because the timing doesn't work out, right?
No, you cannot.
Okay. Well, anyways, since it's an offshoot of an 8-sack deck, I have to give it 5 chili peppers. I hope Gal keeps trying to make this deck work because
Yeah, it's a cool deck.
it's a cool deck, and
fan.
it keeps getting hit by random nerfs, but Gal keeps trying to make it work. Like recently, what was it? Pensive Songwriter got banned, and
that's
apparently, and Gal thought that would kill the deck, but we got some new cards, so the deck's still chugging along. Anyways,
next we have me.
You're playing literally the same list that I decklist, for one league with.
Not quite. I messed with the sideboard a little bit. I changed it around a little bit, and I think I changed it back after a little bit. I added more Civilizations cost, I remember, because I wanted to play that card.
Is it good into this format?
It's good into Treasury.
I don't think it is, right? They can just fetch a bunch of basics. Or no, wait,
they don't have that many basics.
True, yeah. So
they have 3 basics in their deck.
Huh, interesting. How much are you hoping to deal off Civilizations cost then?
I'm honestly not sure, but I think it would be really funny too, in response to them dragon calling just Civilizations cost them.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
That's all I'm thinking about.
So how do you beat the 4-stand unsaleables in the main deck?
Well, the Heart Attack deck, like the Treasury Restoration deck, isn't playing them because it needs to hit off 10,
right. Well,
which I'm super glad for. I was worried that they were going to add them in last minute, and they didn't.
Wait, are they not running stands at all?
They're not.
Wow. That was
because you have to hit Chattery off of 10.
I mean, I feel like you could run stand because hitting stand is basically as good as hitting Chattery against a burn deck, right? Like you're just extending more time equals more lands.
That's the reasoning they had. I don't know. But I'm glad they're not doing it. As for the other Heart Attack decks that are running 4x in the main, I just hope they don't draw it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Burn can actually go under them.
I try my best. Yeah, Burn can win under it and do it. I do hope they don't draw it. I don't really have a good way to stop them from using it, so I just hope they don't draw, and if they do, I hope to still punch through, do my best.
And yeah, the deck definitely can punch through because Neon Claw Burn has a lot of ways to just find extra damage, find extra damage out of nowhere.
Make a lot of amplify functions to deal extra damage, and then you can reprise your Rogger's Gambits that also get it. I like it because it reminds me of spell damage in Hearthstone. It feels like
Shaman. Right, you're actually it very much is like that. And it had, well, I'm not sure how those kinds of decks worked in Hearthstone, but I like this burn deck because it makes you, it forces you to think a lot about how you're going to best sequence your play so that you get the most damage out of all your things. Because there's a lot of damage modifiers in this deck, like Neon Claw making the function tokens, which means that will double dip if you reprise Rogar's Gambit. So now you're making decisions about whether you want to hold your spells so that you can get a better value from the function tokens. And also Brazen.
The one thing I wish would happen is that Brazen Sacrilege, Brazen Sacrilege also sort of gives spell damage, but the way it's worded, I feel like in Hearthstone there might be some weird ass thing where you could use the Neon Claw Knight thing on Brazen Sacrilege and it would increase both the numbers on the card.
Actually, it would work out if Brazen Sacrilege triggered, or the extra damage from Brazen was a triggered ability.
Yeah, but
I'm
hoping to run people down basically.
Brazen Sacrilege is also really fun or leads to a lot of decision making because it buffs every red damage source, including from creatures and from triggers.
Like a Recurry Dissident.
Yeah, so you actually have to think a lot.
I've gotten killed by this deck many times by upkeep Sacrilege with a Dissident in play, and I'm like, okay, I guess I die.
You have to remember to upkeep Brazen with Suitor. That's something I often forget to do when playing a deck because it's extremely easy to just go untap, draw, and then oops, I should have Sacrilege in response to Suitor trigger. So yeah,
That makes
just
sense.
something to make sure you don't forget to do when you're playing the deck.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, even though it's burn, I'm giving it 5 chili peppers because it's a deck that I built and I really like this burn because it doesn't feel like, or like it feels a lot, it feels like it has a lot more tricky play to it than your regular burn deck.
I got a ping
Hi.
30 minutes ago to talk about my deck, but I'm a little bit late.
Ooh, who are you? Let me, next,
It's
okay.
Nyx.
Okay, next, talk about your deck. You have 10 minutes. Or no, you have 5 minutes.
I can't spend a full 5-10 minutes
10
on
minutes
it.
is so long.
Okay, never
Yeah, I
mind.
know,
What,
right?
you have 1 minute. Go.
Okay, I play Harvest Reaper on 1, and I sack it to
30
Egg of
seconds,
Avarice
go.
on 2, and then I'll have 5 mana on turn 3, which lets me play Dimensional Reshaper, Dead Man's Hand, and then we'll kill someone on turn 3.
Cool.
Easy.
How do you actually? Yeah, I mean, even if someone interacts, you still aren't down that many cards, so you can just like use Harvest Sleeper. What Harvest
The
Sleeper is still in graveyard at
Reaper.
that point, right? So you can just scavenge it to find something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I also
there
just
is
noticed you have a Ghost Quarter.
I have a Ghost Quarter, that is correct. And I have a basic Wastes in the main board.
I also just noticed that. It's really funny.
Alright, bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh well, I wish Nyx could stick around for longer, but thanks for joining anyways.
Yeah.
All right, are we done talking about burn? Yeah, we're done talking
Yeah.
about burn.
After that, we are on to a deck another deck I'm a fan of, which is Reckless Mutationist.
Let me just check the time real
It's
fast. Oh, so only 40 minutes, and we're not too slow, I guess. Yeah, let
Yeah.
go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. Reckless Mutationist deck. This is a cool deck. I'm a big fan of it. It lets you play it on 1, and I love this card. I'm a big fan of it in Full Midnight Limited. It lets you haste out your Neon Claw Knights, haste out your Profane Emissaries, haste out your Hall Hordes and your Simple Tempters. Just get a lot of haste, big damage out of nowhere. Also, it's a Demon Pools deck, so actually they're not playing pools. It's still a Profane Emissary deck.
I feel like they should be playing at least one pools because
I feel like that too.
yeah, because
I feel like there should be one just for the heck of it.
like some of the demons you don't really want to pull, at least early.
It's also sometimes a genuine upside, like it was for me in League earlier when I was playing a similar deck, to actually just have a land off of Profane Emissary if you really need one.
Yeah. Although
Like if you're stuck on mana and need to get to 3.
I mean, Paula Pools is a colorless land, so mana could be a
but like
problem.
if you are on black and you need to get to Numo Wang,
Wait, did I run Yomo in my version?
I don't know.
Well, yeah. Anyways, I'm invested in this deck because I've also contributed to the development of this deck. I'm the one who decided to put the Flames approach into the deck because I realized that it synergizes really well with Neon Claw
That
Knight.
card's just nuts.
Because yeah, you can use it to reduce it, and then it's also extremely good to haste.
It's so absurd. But yeah, it also is a Chigao deck. This card is broken. You can use it with Sinful Templar. You can use it on Reckless Mutationist to have the Mutationist sack itself, make a version of itself with haste out more things, and like you can sack itself, make a version of it with haste, recast the other one from graveyard, then use the first one to give the second one haste, and then sack that one and make another 3/2 version of it.
The good news is that you can only do it once per turn because Shigao has a hard once per turn limit.
That's a fair point. Hellfort on 4. You want to be casting Hellfort on 4. So that's rough for pilot pools. I can see that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of upside to it and downside. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Neon wants to talk. When we're getting to Neon's deck? Neon is
soon.
Oh, soon.
Very
Okay,
soon.
good. Yeah, feel free to jump in once we get to your deck, Neon. So yeah, 5 chili peppers because I've contributed to this deck.
I think it's cool.
Black Red Tempter. Are we calling it Tempter? Even though Tempter is one of the.
I was calling it Simple Tempter. Yeah.
Even though Tempter is like one of the less necessary parts of the deck. Like you can.
It's just iconic though.
It's iconic, but like I feel like you totally could cut Simple Tempter and just have like the Reckless Mutationist, Neon Claw, Flames Approach core.
I was playing that kind of deck in, not with Mutationist, but I should be playing Mutationist maybe. But I was playing that kind of deck in League and it was good. But like,
yeah,
I just like Simple Tempter. It's cool.
Okay, moving on. Engineer.
Also on the Treasury Heart Attack deck.
Is it literally the same deck?
It has 1 Azos main board instead of 2 Tyrants.
Okay, that's. I see you're diversifying your threats.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. It's pretty similar.
And not much to talk about,
I think
right?
it's basically the same. Yeah, I'll just do the same thing.
All right. What did I give
Now
it?
we're on Neon.
Five chili peppers? Or no, 3 chili peppers because I don't
Okay.
like heart attack, but it's slightly more creative than normal heart attack. Okay, Neon, feel free to
Okay.
jump in if you're here. Look, engineer's asking me to look at the sideboard. Engineer, what do you want? Fires
did
of
you change
Renewal.
things?
Is that the one that you're? No, it's actually
Oh, First Renewal. That's a good card.
and total process failure. Yeah, the sideboard's different, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot to look. I looked at it and then forgot about it.
Okay, so
Ferris of Renewal is a good card. And Total Process Failure is, what is it called? Lightning Axe?
it's lightning.
It's
Yeah,
a pretty cool one.
it's lightning axe that exiles, I guess.
Yeah,
So
I like it. I just like Ferris of Renewal. I love that card.
is there like a reason you're playing total process failure over any other 1 mana removal spell? Just early removal? Yeah, but like why this card out of all the other options?
1 mana kills Profane Emissary
But so does Elebody, right? Or is this for color?
or Temeration.
Can they not cast Elebody with this mana? Oh, okay, I guess they can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it
oh yeah,
can't
and
cast
doesn't mess up
Elebody on here.
Cascade. Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing. Doesn't mess up Cascade. That makes sense. I forgot about that. Yeah, there we go.
I don't play enough
Okay.
kind of modern to have that instinct.
Yeah.
All right, Neon.
Hey, Neon. This deck looks really cool.
Yeah, it's Pawns. You know how much I love Imperial Siege.
Yeah, I know. I've
Kind of what I. Go ahead.
I remember that game where you Imperial Siege pipped like 4 times or something. That was hilarious.
so
The
gross.
crazy thing is that was prowess. That wasn't even like Ponza. I just had 3 in the sideboard, and I just said it makes more sense right now to spam this with like 3 Breach the Lilies instead of actually playing the game. And, hey, I won, so
Stupid.
clearly I was onto something.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but basically this deck came to be because I was like, I'm gonna make a deck with 4 Imperial Siege main board because these mana bases are greedy and I hate heart attack.
I agree.
So-
I also hate heart attack.
Yeah, for sure. So another thing is that a lot of these decks also use fetches, and I am very high on Seabree Null Mage. I think people sleep on this card. It's just like it is so relevant so frequently, and you can just like slam a fetch land and just say nuh-uh, and you have a 1/1 body. And it allows you to spread counters around more with Matia instead of putting them all in one thing. Yeah, one thing you'll notice here is Star Jump. I just thought it
I
was.
sure did.
I wanted more card advantage stuff, and this being instant allows me to like hold it up behind counter spells. Sometimes you even find a counter spell with it, but yeah, Portal Fracture I think is just really good, and I wanted a counter spell I could get off of Breach the Lilies, but Breach the Lilies is really the base of this deck. You know, just ignore the Recall Forgotten Eons. But yeah, the goal here is just try to get screwy with your opponent's lands and then play a normal tempo strategy. But
I appreciate that you're running
I always
2.
love seeing Matia.
I appreciate that you're running 2 Find Nothings in the sideboard in addition to the Null Mages.
yeah, I you know, sometimes I'm cooking and I don't even know with what, but yeah, I think Find Nothing is like Find Nothing sometimes replaces Imperial Sieges against certain matchups, like more fetch heavy decks, more like Fireweaver decks. But yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
so what's your plan against Burn? Like, because Burn doesn't run any, or doesn't run many non-basics.
So that's the thing, is I didn't expect Burn to really be a thing this GP. So Sidon, Ultilin Surveyor, and Prey.
I mean, I guess you still have targets for Breach the Lilies even after setting out Imperial Siege.
Yeah, I mean, I also just have counter spells, and I can block their little dinky guys with Matia, and Voracious Spawn can hit like. I mean, I'm not like completely helpless. It's just, not great. But yeah, I mean, it's not really like race them. It's more like, yeah, you just kind of like try to leverage card advantage and not die by countering enough lightning bolts.
Yeah. I actually do really appreciate you running 4 Voracious Spawns because it's a new card and I don't think anyone else has done something like that. Like,
It's actually recommended to me. Cool thing about Voracious Spawn is it doesn't say it has flash, but Breach the Lilies is an instant, and you can just cast Voracious Spawn with that. So you can play it on turn 2, it gets killed. Doesn't really matter. Voracious Spawn is good against burn. That is like one of my plans against burn is just, eat my own fetches and make a big body.
Yeah, like actually, yeah, Voracious Spawn is something that grows on its own without any investment. So I guess it's like Matia in a way. So it's good in temple.
Yeah, it also
it.
is graveyard hate randomly too. So yeah.
Okay. I give it 5 stars for Star Jump.
Yeah, I really like. I mean, the deck is very interesting, so I'll also get 5 chili peppers. Yeah.
I'm literally still winning.
Also,
Anyways, thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Also, I appreciate that you're running the good art for Forbidden Treasure.
Wait, hold on. I totally did that on purpose. Yeah, pretty one.
Yeah.
None of you are running. None of you are running the Lumity Autumn Fae, and I've got to say, kind of homophobic. I'm not gonna lie. That's fucked up. Anyways, have a good night, y'all.
Okay. Thanks for joining, Neon. Okay, and they left. Cool. So yeah, 5 chili peppers. Moving on. Lyco Drake is on horrors.
This is the cool Monument Horrors deck that TrueQ was working on. They're finally playing Insatiable Abomination, which is a card I still think is really good. And when people first started talking about horrors before till midnight, I was like, oh, Insatiable Abomination, and people were like, what? That's bad. It's 4 mana, but I still feel like it's pretty good because it essentially just makes all your horrors indestructible, trivially.
Sure, but 4 mana, really?
I mean, in a lot of matchups, it's quite good. It makes them unable to die in combat. It makes them immune to removal.
Yeah, I guess.
It's also just a 5/3, and it mills a ton to fill up the graveyard for all your stuff.
Oh yeah, right. It triggers on every horror entering.
Every horror, both players.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So
it's only one of it, but I feel like this card could be real.
So this deck is
I don't
also
need that many of them, but there's spots when it's very helpful.
This deck's interesting because it's like an aggressive deck that also runs selective breeding.
Yeah, like a lot of those Kindred decks are. It's using Subdue False Idols as like a major draw to the deck because that card's really, really good.
It's 1 mana. It's 1 mana sorcery speed Source to Plowshares that comes back if you have enough guys.
And then Endless Helpless Souls. This is a Girl Souls deck. So we have Girl, and then we have Souls. And those both get back most of the deck. They even get better because this deck gets to play a whole bunch of the MDFCs from Till Midnight, which happen to be horrors. And they're 2 mana, so you can put them in with Monument to the Fallen Man and Endless Helpless Souls and Girl, while also being lands.
Yeah, although I doubt you really want to play them out as lands, right? Because you don't really have the time to use tap lands in this deck.
I mean, yeah, but like you're playing 18 other lands, so
yeah,
you just get to have them be part of your mana base.
Wait, 3 Polyp Pools? Are you sure that like you can afford to play 3 colorless lands?
You have Monument to the Fallen Man.
Yeah, but still, like 3 Polyp Pools is a lot of Polyp Pools.
I don't know. It's never felt like a problem when I played in the deck, but maybe it is.
How are you actually fetching
I've never
Polyp Pools?
You don't. You just play 3.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I thought like Walker of the Final Path fetched horrors, but apparently it only.
No, it just finds you Subdue into the graveyard.
Yeah. So I think this deck definitely seems very cool. The problem is that how often does Endless Helpless Souls whiff? Like that's the problem with Endless Helpless Souls deck. EHS always whiffs at the worst times possible.
I have seen it whiff before playing against this deck, but I've also seen it hit a lot, so I'm not sure what the real numbers are.
I'm pretty sure the numbers are actually pretty good. It's just that when you play the deck and EHS whiffs when you need it to not whiff, you feel really bad.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean that's like that's sort of that's the sort of risk you accept when you play EHS.
Yeah. Oh wow! In the sideboard, Eldritch Emergence.
I do not think that's the right deck for it. 5 mana Wrath.
I don't know what you bring this in for, but it's a cool card.
I think you just bring it in mid-range matchups, I guess.
Yeah, maybe like the Mirror or something. Wait, no, not the Mirror. Definitely not the Mirror. But yeah, like a mid-range Mirror, I guess. Like some kind of mid-range deck. You bring it and you Wrath their board, I guess.
And then 3 Emergency Titan Snares against the Heart decks that ended up not actually being that popular in this GP.
Yeah, as is the tradition.
I mean, I think the deck just does naturally well against Prowess and Friends, right? Because it just has bodies and stuff. So, anyways, horrors. Yeah, 5 Chili Peppers. I really like the deck. Or I really like how the deck is built. it has a lot of it has lots of cool synergies and stuff.
Next we have Mono Black is back. It's Demon Pools back again.
Demon Pool.
Vein Drinkers. It's all the classics. It's Vein Drinkers, Premissary, Auric Soul Weaver, Prince, Hellford, Valdez. Terror is here.
I do not think that those are classics. Those are new cards.
I know those are new ones. I'm saying those other ones who are classics. Terror, I'm not sure about, but it's here.
It's technically fetchable off Profane Emissary, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a bad mind rot. You can fetch off that. So
okay, so Mind's Contagion is the 4 of new card in this deck.
Yeah, that one I think is pretty cool. It's a cheap demon that you can fetch and you can do stuff. It gets haste sometimes. It sort of hates on creatures. It's not that bad, but it just deals some extra damage.
Is that card like actually good? Because it seems underwhelming just by reading it. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. But when purple deck listed with this deck, I think it might be the same list. I'm not sure, but it's very similar. Purple had these 4 and said it performed better, like performed pretty good. So I'm not sure.
I mean, they're the one who's designed it, so
yeah,
it probably performed. So I guess it probably means that performed pretty well, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but we'll see how it goes this GP. Yeah, this is a classic deck with some new tools, but it's a classic deck.
And it's playing main deck Temeration. Does that hit anything? Oh, it hits Prowess pretty badly. Okay, yeah.
It hits Prowess pretty badly, and it hits Burn and stuff like that, and it hits Horrors. It hits all of the Monument to the Fallen Man decks. And we're about to see one of those coming up right next with Ninjas.
Oh, okay. Anyways, just giving it 5 chili peppers for Mono Black because, like, even if it's a classic deck, I always find it fun to commentate because
I would give it 5. I have to give it 3 black. I have to give it 3 skulls for the Auric Soul Weaver swag.
Oh, right. They're using the good art for Auric Soul Weaver. Yeah, I have to give it extra. Oh, I already give it 5. Okay. Yeah. Moving on. Zay.
Yeah. We have the Shadow Ninjas deck. This deck is sick. It's a similar one to what was played last time. I think it's different somehow, but I don't remember how. Sultan of Avarice, maybe. There's like Cephalovorus Flukes. It's ninjas combined with Shadow. Inked Summoner is a pretty absurd card when it's enabled, and it's pretty easy to enable with fetches and like the lands you pay life for. Murmuring Falls, Nebula. It's just pretty easy to make 3/3s and 5/5s. Even if you trigger it once, it's just amazing.
Yeah, and Herald getting nerfed to 2 ends up being a boon to this deck because now it synergizes all your 2
costs.
Just
put it in, instant speed.
End of turn Monument is. Oh, actually, they also run Enopraxius to combo with Herald.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you can end of turn drop Herald and also Enopraxia it.
Yeah, it's very funny. Also, Suzume lets you pay 1 million life for Herald at instant speed.
Oh yeah, right. Can you just keep activating this even if you?
Yeah, you can.
You just have to know enough creature names, I guess.
Yes, you just name enough creatures and you pay how much life you want.
I wonder if, like, if you're playing against your opponent, you force them to name the creatures so that it tests their MSEM knowledge.
That's technically the higher EV play. Depends on if they'll get annoyed at you or if they'll have fun naming creatures.
I mean, okay, so like if you're going infinite with Suzume, how would you choose which creatures to name directly if you're going infinite with Suzume?
Infinite?
Yeah.
I mean, if you go infinite, it's presumably by like.
Okay, how about this? If you have to name 40 creatures with Suzume,
name 40 creatures. I think I just like think of any ones I've played recently. You could probably do a smarter way by like looking at Instigator and just pulling up it and sorting creature and just like read them all in order.
Okay, yeah, sure. I guess there's nothing preventing you from just looking stuff up.
Yeah.
But it's funnier if like it's funnier if you do it on the spot without any look.
It is funny.
Yeah. All right, and they're running 2 Titan Snares in the board because everyone thinks that Titan Snare will do things this GP. All right, so yeah, Ninja. I don't really. Actually, this is an interesting Ninjas deck, so I'll give it 4 chili peppers.
I like Ninjas a lot. I think it's cool.
All right, so
okay, now we're on to you to Prowess. Yeah. What did you change from your decklist list?
So in the morning I submitted the exact list I decklisted with, but I was thinking about like if there's anything I want to change, and I thought that like Enraptured Countess doesn't actually perform that well because it like oftentimes I'm playing it out on 1 because I'd rather Enraptured Countess die than my Nizev Enforcer or my Autumn Fae, so I'm often just running it out without being able to get the tail. So then I was thinking about maybe I just run some Haste Prowess guy so that even if I don't draw my Bite Blitz, my buff spells still do things in the same turn. But at the same time, like I don't know if I'm just like if Enraptured Countess is actually good because I've like there's definitely been games where Rapid Countess did its thing. So
It's a really good card. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's correct or not to play it.
Yes,
You might be
and-
correct that it's good to play the other things.
so I
don't know.
can't. So since I was indecisive, I decided to just split it down the middle, which is probably a bad thing because these sorts of low to ground decks want to be consistent, so they'd rather just run 4 of the
Yeah.
best card in the deck instead of going 2 and 2. So
I feel like that is likely true.
I'm intentionally making my deck weaker, unless in Rapid Countess it's actually just worse than people, in which case then I'm technically making my deck slightly better. So
Maybe.
yeah, I don't know if
Or
this
maybe even if it's weaker, you can just think of it like you're like fighting with like the training bands off. And then
Yeah.
halfway through the GP, you're just gonna change your deck list. You're gonna do it all in one, and you're gonna shift the split all to one and take them off, and then win all the games. And then you'll get all the judges called on you.
Yeah. I mean, technically, there's nothing like if I loaded a deck that had 4 copies instead of the 2 and 2, and I don't draw and then my opponent doesn't look at my entire deck, there's no way they can actually know that I've done that, right?
Yeah. They can look at game replays. I don't know if they get to see your hand.
Well, as long as I don't draw all copies of them.
Yeah. Like if it never gets proven, then technically you're correct. Although, please don't do that.
Don't
I
worry,
don't
like
want this deck list stream to get investigated.
there's way easier ways to cheat MSEM. Like you can just get one of your friends to spectate someone else's game and then relay all the hand info to you.
I mean, that's true,
Yeah.
but don't do that either.
Yeah.
Okay, next deck. We should move on.
Yeah, we should probably move on. Yeah, so 5 chili peppers for my own deck.
Hersey is on Mishka again. This deck is red.
Yeah, so it's another deck that's running Neon Claw Knight, but using it for a different purpose than the previous 2 decks.
It's basically the same deck, yeah, as last time. You use all these removal spells, you use Brutalize, and rebuy it with a Rush of Stillness and stuff to get a lot of Valerie value. You recast your spells with Valerie, you recast them with Kyoro, you make a lot of value. That's it.
You're mostly
You kill them
using
eventually.
you're mostly using Neon Claw to discount in this deck. I love how like versatile Neon Claw Knight is, where it sees play on in all these
Although,
decks.
If there is a Meteor Volley, which does allow you to increase the damage of that.
I mean, not even that. You can just
In a
increase the
effective
damage
way.
of Flames Approach if you really want to.
Yeah, I'm just meaning like that is a specialty one, but like there's some burn spells that allow you to do that because they also you need burn to enable your sacrifice to Setar to turn to Mishka.
You just need one of the burn spells. You don't need to buff them. It already does 3 by base.
I know. I'm just saying that's why you play them in your deck.
Yeah. And then you also get the benefit of sometimes pointing the burn spells at your opponent's stuff instead of your own stuff.
Yep. Most would say that benefit.
And there's nothing too. Oh, they have 1 Oil the Mine inside board. I guess for anti-mail.
That's really funny. Marina.
Yeah.
Is also on burn.
Also 5 chili or 4 chili peppers actually. Yeah, I don't really like. No, 5 chili peppers. It's fun enough to watch, I guess. It's not fun to play against, but it's fun to watch.
Marina is on burn. Oh, cool. Marina is using my art for Civilization's Cost. The one from Spirit Island.
Were you using this?
I forgot to change them in this thing, but I have my own arts in Cockatrice.
So exact same deck, right?
Yeah, it's the same one.
Cool. I love how I'm like, you know how like I'm usually known for playing ramp decks, but right now I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm like
Right now,
my
aggro.
my biggest influence right now is the complete opposite of that. Yeah, it's 5 chili peppers because it's a deck I built.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Next we have Prowess again. It's the same deck as Requiem's. Cool Beans is playing because time's the end. It looks like, which is cool.
And yep, same list.
Now we got who's I believe a new player, which is cool. Is it a new player?
Size MC Waves
No, they're not a new player. They've been here for a while. They just haven't been in one of these for a while.
Okay, who are they? A Frogmaker? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh.
It looks like they've been here for a long time.
Okay,
but
yeah.
They just haven't played in a long time.
So what is this?
I haven't seen them before. That's cool though. This is a Vibrant Rapture combo deck, which we haven't seen in a long time, but it is still a thing. And every now and then I think, oh, that's probably still good. And then I forget about it. And I've never tried it again. So it's Vibrant Rapture. So you play it, X equals whatever, and then you use Departed Evangel and cast it 1,000,000 times. Because we now have some more sec outlets, like Council of Shards, that makes it easier to go infinite. We have Voidbringer as your win con. Well, one of them, if you use Cleanup Crew. Vampire Partaker is also a way to gain the life back and get your triggers and stuff. and Cunning Cephalomancer lets you pay mana to draw a card when you sack things.
Oh wait,
This card used to trigger off lands too, so you could use it with fetch lands, and that was too good.
why have I not seen this card before? It seems extremely efficient. Like it's just one mana, like one mana payment per sack to draw a card, and it's unlimited per turn.
Yeah, they're using Probe Beyond again. I wonder what the deal is with Probe Beyond, because I feel like it's worse than Dire Predictions.
It has flashback, right?
Yeah, but Dire Predictions is this, but you don't have to pay for the flashback.
Well, maybe you want to flash it back while you have like maybe you want to be able to turn one it because Dire Predictions doesn't let you turn one it, right?
That's true. That's true.
I'm
It
just
doesn't.
check what that card
That's a fair
does.
point. But yeah, duress and stuff. Stolen cash. Just steal your opponent's things and sack them. That's funny. Classic.
So,
Re-sleeve is here.
does Stolen
That's
Cash still
interesting.
steal stuff? I thought it got nerfed.
It steals artifacts.
Oh right, yeah, true. I guess.
It used to steal lands. But you can get artifacts and stuff. I guess it creates golden clue.
It
I don't know
untaps
what
the thing,
deal is,
right?
but it's
Or no, it creates gold and then it. Or did
can
they?
untap an artifact. I guess. Wait. I guess you can choose your own Egg of Avarice. Actually,
Yeah, that's interesting.
that seems really good. It seems actually quite good because you can like do it and then find your departed evangel and then find your cleanup crew and go wild, stuff like that. I don't know the specifics, but it seems good.
Yeah, this seems really good. Or I mean, this
Yeah,
seems very interesting.
Vibrant Rapture hasn't been played for a while. It's a good card. Re-sleeve is cool. It's reanimation from the graveyard.
Okay,
That's cool.
5 Chili Peppers. This is very cool. What do you even call this deck?
Vibrant Rapture combo.
Okay, sure, you can
We'll
put
put it
that down. So moving on. Is that a new player?
They've been around for a little bit. I think this is the first GP.
Oh yeah, that's a new player. Yeah. Okay. Well, how have you been referring to this player verbally?
Lakusek. I haven't pronounced her name out loud yet.
Okay.
But this is it's a Esper Condor clearing deck.
Yeah.
It's a control league version because it's using the Long Road North, which is a card I've looked at for a long time and never really figured it out. And they seem to hopefully have figured it out, which is really cool because it just turns all your enchantments into murder things.
And murder is a bit rude. They're just like sending them away forever.
Into the snow.
Which is technically not dead, apparently.
Phantasmal Owl is really interesting in this deck because it triggers off of all your Condor clearing stuff. So you just like make a bunch of birds and then it gets big and it's also enchantment, so it triggers your stuff. It's fascinating.
It's fascinating. I'm not sure if Phantasmal L is actually good here, but it definitely is fascinating.
I'm not either, but it is cool.
Yeah.
And I hope it's good because it's pretty cool. Use Waltz on Nimbus, which is kind of an absurd card. I always forget this card exists.
I think this is actually the real reason you go into blue in these sorts of Condor clearings decks because this card's absurd.
This card's nuts. It's a O-ring that then makes a giant threat that then it un-O-rings itself, but then you find another threat. You find another whatever you need, a removal or anything.
It's like Urza Saga, except it's not a land.
Actually like Urza Saga.
And it's an O-ring instead of a land, and it also doesn't free cast a thing that you grab, but you can grab anything.
They're not actually that much like Urza Saga, but it kind of like Urza Saga.
Yeah, well, it makes a big thing in the middle that gets buffed by permanent types. I think that's close enough.
Sideboard has Moonlight Sanctum, which is a classic. It taxes things or gains a ton of life.
Oh yeah, interesting.
And then Dissociate, which is a 2-mana O-ring. Cool. This deck looks cool.
It's running 3 Titan Snares and 3 Chained Up Sigils, which I guess they've also bought into the heart attack hype.
Yeah.
I feel like White has to have better options than these artifact sideboard cards, right? Because like you should be playing hate enchantments for the synergy, and I feel like
I agree, but I'm not sure what the deal is.
I guess they're technically missing out on what was that card again? Guiding Light. Like they could be playing Guiding Light in the sideboard if they really want to wreck Burn and Friends.
Mina is bugged, and for some reason this like Godzilla printing of Mina has it show as the Godzilla title on Undersea Days, which is pretty funny.
Oh. Okay. Let me just put 5 Chili Peppers on Plazuk's deck. Did I pronounce her name correctly? I hope I didn't.
Lakuzak, I think. Something like that.
Anyways, Herber's playing Dredge with Mina and Friends.
It's a Mina deck. This is cool. Crypnar, you mill a whole bunch of cards and stuff. We're saying Merchant of False Lives. This is cool. So you get your Crypnars back and your Ceaseless Stalkers, and because they're coming back anyways, you mill yourself a ton.
I've never seen Breaker of Secrets before. What does that do?
I have not either. That's a interesting card. It looks like it's mill from the yard, and it triggers all your ceaseless stalkers.
Huh, yeah, that is interesting. Does it trigger it?
Yeah.
What does ceaseless get triggered by? When it... Oh, cast. Okay, it also gets triggered from cast. Yeah.
Yeah, it works. There's Withering Agony, which is a thing for Mina, because you can Mina turn 1, and then it always gets in because no one else, like, you play it, you attack turn 1 because it's Slipstream, and then you Withering Agony for 1 to mill yourself for 8, get a bunch of stuff. It's playing all the silly little things here. It's a Nightmares Unseen deck, apparently, so you make giant things, and then, I don't know, you do all this stuff. It's small luxuries. Only 2 of, though. That's really weird to me. I feel like you should be on more.
Yeah.
But I guess they don't have many.
Well,
They don't have many ways to discard it, but still, like.
Well, yeah,
don't
like
know,
if
I'm not
if you
sure.
don't have ways to discard it, then it just gets stuck in your hand and does nothing. And I think this is
I mean,
this
you can
deck's
cast it.
this deck's more mill than discard. So
I mean, you can cast it still.
yeah, but you don't want
yeah.
to cast it if you can help it. Like you'd rather be
I mean, if
casting.
you draw it for, I guess, yeah.
You'd rather be casting Breaker of
It's-
Secrets instead of Small Lux.
I mean, if you have Mina, you can cast it for free on their turn.
Yeah, and let's not.
But Deadwood Terror is here.
Or Unearth and Friends.
We all forgot about Deadwood Terror because people got scared about the heart thing. But this card is majorly scary. Anyways, that's happening. So that's that
Yeah.
deck. It's pretty cool.
They're running Toxic Fumes. What does that do? It's Delve. Okay, so it's a Delve -3/-3, and they're playing Bonita Zadina to protect their guys or protect their graveyard. Yeah. 5 Chili Peppers. I really. It's interesting.
Very cool deck.
All right, moving on. Triku is playing. Can we skip this? Did we already talk about this?
Yeah, we can skip it. It's I believe it's the same.
No, I think the sideboard's slightly different. They're playing 1 Aberrant Aposto instead of something, I think.
Yeah, it's slightly different, but it's not very different. It's very similar.
All right.
I
5
think it's basically the same.
Chili Peppers and move on.
I think it's a cool deck, but we already talked about it.
And Silver Palabellum is playing the exact same deck, right?
Yeah, it's also ninjas.
Okay, 5 chili. Did I give it 5 or 4? I think I gave it 4, right? Yeah, 4 chili peppers and move on. Caillou is playing Unrelenting Villainy, right? No, Unrelenting.
It's not just Unrelenting. Unrelenting finds both pieces of Casino Scam. It's the return of Casino Scam.
Both pieces? What's the? Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
Buy time and All or Nothing.
And then you find your Sacred Songs to win.
Yeah, you find a secret. You draw your whole deck, find Secret Songs, go to discard, and then go to your extra turn and win.
And it's playing
whatever.
Villainies because.
Yeah, because Villainy is really good. It's Unrelenting. I was experimenting with Unrelenting Villainy stuff a couple months ago, and I was talking to Caillou about it. Caillou seems to have a shell that is working out good for that, so I'm really excited for that. Because when I was doing it, it seemed kind of cool, but I couldn't figure it out. As is so often the case. We have Mafua. I haven't seen Mafua in so long, but this card's cool.
Yeah, I guess it's good mid-range blocker.
But you also find it off of Unrelenting.
Right. And then you also get Zanagan off Unrelenting.
Yeah. Or Valdez. Or a couple board wipes.
I'm looking at the sideboard, and I find it hilarious how their entire sideboard is discard or removal.
Yeah, Long Forgotten might go. I love that card.
Only 1 copy of Long Forgotten. Interesting.
That feels weird, but that's the choice.
I think what happened was that Caillou trimmed a bunch of sideboard cards to fit into 3 Titan Snares last minute, and I don't think it's paying off for them.
That seems possible. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, like
that's that deck. I'm a big fan of it.
I don't think Titan Snare is how you beat Heart Attack. I think you just try to jam on your discard to beat Heart Attack.
Yeah, it depends if you can jam discard like before or after they get their things, because sometimes they just top deck the things like Ramp does. Sometimes they don't.
But like I think like turn 1 hand attack into turn 2 hand attack is probably good enough to put them off ramp for long enough for you to set up.
I would agree to that.
And it's probably better than just trying to jam Titan Snare and getting killed by Revelations.
That's probably true.
Okay, 5.
Maybe you can kill Revelations though, like with Exeunt and stuff.
Fair.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure.
5 chili peppers because it's Casino Scam plus Villainy, so it's Villainy Scam, right?
Yeah, Casino Scam Villainy, or yeah.
I can't spell
Villainy
Villainy. Help me
Casino
spell it for me.
I'll do it. I got it. Okay, now we have Bant Heart Attack.
I hate how we have
pretty funny. Scribble went number go up. Admiral Ivy went number go down. Ha ha ha.
Is it the exact same?
It's the same.
Okay, cool.
I think they collaborated or talked about it.
2 chili peppers and move on.
Yeah, and then we got Sultai. I think this is probably the same one from last time. Yeah, because it's still using corrupted memory and stuff. It's pretty similar, at least. It's the Sultai Heart Attack back again.
I think they
doing the same thing.
I don't think they ran Timeration last GP.
Oh yeah, they have one in sideboard.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, anyways, one chili pepper and
Okay,
move
but
on because I don't like.
I'm giving it 1, yeah, because it's the same one as last time. And
And
finally, we have another egg deck. This is a little blink. It looks like a different version of the egg deck they brought last time. This deck is
ooh,
pretty cool
interesting.
looking.
Treacherous Warden.
So it's an ambitious. It's Treacherous Warden. I have a deck. It's a combo deck using Treacherous Warden that I workshopped with Amethyst, and I keep forgetting to finish it and bring it to League. But it's a really cool deck. I'll bring it eventually. Anyways, this deck is pretty neat. You use egg and toolbox bunch of stuff. It has hand attack and Chigao, and then you just ambitious necromancer, do all that good stuff. Bring your things back. You volatile stonework second. Bromelian is new in here. That's really interesting. I guess it turns your egg into a mana rock.
Does it? Or okay, yeah, I guess you. So you find it, you fetch it out, and then you sack it, and then you sack your thing that you fetched, which I guess is fine.
Well, your sack things, anyways. You're doing a lot of sacking. Leiru Lumberjacks is a cool card. I've played this before in Ye Fang, and it was bad, but it might be good here because that deck I played was bad. So
Yeah.
Pestilent Scavenger, yeah. The Trepanator is back, and the Warden. Warden's really cool because, especially with Ambitious Necromancer, if you can chain them, because you can Warden. You know this tech, but you Warden for another Warden and for another Warden, and then they all come back in and they just kill you.
Wait, how do you do that again?
You play Warden, it finds another Warden. You use Necromancer to bring back the Warden, it finds another Warden.
Wait,
and each of them triggers.
How does it Oh, does Necromancer trigger from abilities?
No, it doesn't. It's not a combo like that.
Oh, okay.
You just play Death of the Author or Expose. You can agonize Death of the Author and just get multiple procs off of it.
Yeah, but so you only get 3 Wardens in total, I guess, off that?
Well, yeah, it's not like you just combo off completely, but each Warden triggers the other Wardens from entering from your graveyard and itself.
Right, so it's
and
stacks.
drain them for a ton.
Yeah.
And then all of your other things that come in and stuff, like it's not like a necessarily one shot, but it drains them for an absurd amount and kind of fuels itself. And then Pneumo Wing, which is cool.
And then running like Well the Mind as a way to trigger sabotage from the graveyard.
I think that's the idea.
Yeah.
Seems cool. Ash Feaster in the sideboard, another one. I guess you bring another one against Planeswalkers.
What is that? What you're bringing Ash Feaster? Is there like any other reason you're playing that thing?
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't think of one. Oh, maybe. Oh, never mind. That doesn't work. I had an idea and it was bad.
Yeah, maybe you're just playing it because like it's a land that technically does stuff.
Yeah. Another Treacherous Warden. I don't know when do you bring in the 4th Treacherous Warden?
When you think the game will go long, so you need all 4 to go long.
I guess that's the answer. Engraves for removal. Seal the Tomb. Using my root art, I'm a big fan of this one.
Yeah.
And then Endeavor. And that's it.
Yay! That's everything. I need to give it 5 chili peppers, right?
Yeah, I'm giving it 5 eggs.
Wow, look at how highly rated all the decks.
A lot of exciting decks.
Look at how highly rated all the decks are. Although that's because like 5 of them are my decks, or more than 5 actually.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
we got an exciting lineup. A lot of cool decks.
So as a prowess player,
last time.
As a prowess player, I'm hoping to dodge removal heavy decks. What about you? What are you hoping to dodge?
I'm hoping to dodge stand unassailable and like things that can, like I think I can be stand unassailable. It's just annoying.
Yeah, you certainly can. Like Neon Claw Burn outputs enough damage to go over and stand unassailable if you play carefully enough.
I'm not entirely sure what I'm hoping to dodge. I think I might be hoping to dodge tempo.
Okay, yeah. Also, I want to dodge tempo. I can't beat spell splitter
really
sprites.
Obnoxious for me.
Yeah,
spell splitter sprites are really obnoxious because they 2-for-1 you on your small things. They can like spell piercer burn and have it make sense. Because they're hitting you with Matias.
And they're also running embodied souls. Yeah, okay. I want to dodge the.
That's a big thing.
I want to dodge that deck.
I have to deal with embodied soul in my life.
At least my deck has the bounce spell in the sideboard for embodied soul, but it's still not great for me.
I mean, you can also embodied soul by making a 6/6 double strike.
Yeah, but then you're like committing a bunch, and then it's not great.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying like if necessary, you can just make something enormous to go over it. Once it's a 4/4, I just actually can't deal with it.
This is why you have to splash green for artifact or enchantment removal.
This is so true.
Except
I genuinely thought about it and then I forgot about it.
And I think it's still wrong, because it's like a percentage point that you can sort of just afford to give up because you're never going to get there anyways, and it makes it matter so much worse.
Probably true. Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's all the decks. Thanks for coming, guys. we got we got 3 concurrent viewers right now, but we managed to peak at 10, which is actually probably a record, or not record, but pretty high for a pretty quiet night. So yeah, thanks guys, and hopefully we'll see you in the GP.
I'll see y'all.